Welcome to SEC Softball, presented by Regions Bank. Wrapping up the SEC weekend here in Lexington, Kentucky. Tennessee goes for their second SEC sweep of the year against the Kentucky Wildcats on one of our favorite nights of the week. Mic'd Up Monday with Kentucky's Rachel Lawson.
I'm telling you right now, I've been mic'd up like probably at least 2 times. I don't play anything I say. I am the most unmicable person in the league because it's either really boring and analytical or probably not made for Disney TV.
Rachel Lawson is made for TV tonight, alongside one who is always made for TV, Jenny Dalton-Hill. I'm Chucky Kemp. Rachel Lawson hoping her team is made for the moment. They need wins, they need them in a hurry, and it has to come against one of the best teams in the nation.
Here at the end of the year, they have their backs up against the wall, needing 4 more wins to get themselves to 500 and be eligible for the postseason. And for them, it's going to have to be against a really difficult pitching staff in Tennessee that leads the nation in ERA. The team batting average is down below last season, and it's because of the way that Tennessee has been pitching right now. Game 1, Carlin Pickens rolled through Kentucky's lineup through her 4th no-hitter of her career and racked up 12 strikeouts. Game 2, Margetko and Pickens combined for the 17th shutout of the season for the Vols.
So they hand it off to a third arm. There's no way she's as good as the first 2, but somehow that's the case. Erin Neuer, the sophomore from East Aurora, New York, has a 13-1 record and a sub 0.8 ERA.
Well, and there is some pressure when you throw in a staff with the way that Tennessee has been able to throw this season, but the maturity of Neuer has found confidence in her skill set this season.
This Kentucky offense has got to find something in Game 3. No hit in Game 1, just 1 walk, struck out 12 times. A little more promise yesterday against Margetko. 2 of their 3 hits were doubles. The other one went off the base of the wall, but they need some run production.
You mentioned it, Chucky. After being silent in Game 1, the Cats woke up with 3 hits, 2 of them for extra bases. They're going to need to find a way to get the bats going here tonight to salvage a win in this series.
Well, after an excellent pitching performance last night from a true freshman, Abby Hammond, the ball goes to the senior tonight from Upland, California, Sarah Hendiges, who leads them in wins, innings pitched, and strikeouts. She's got a lot of innings on that arm this year.
She does, and she threw an out in Game 2 yesterday, but they were saving her, I think, for the start here tonight, hoping that she can bring a little magic to the circle, keep the run production low for Tennessee, and allow the bats for Kentucky to hopefully wake up.
Hendiges has thrown in both games, 2 2/3 in the first game, 3 hits, 3 runs, and that is going to be a leadoff base runner for Tennessee, and this is something that's been a bit of a problem for Kentucky on the defensive side of things. They allow Gabby Leach to reach to make way for Ella Dodge, then Emma Clark. Alana Leach, really, we talked to Karen Weekly. She talked about this team kind of slumping as a group at times. Alana Leach has been immune to the slump in that 4-hole. This is ripped to left field and carrying toward the corner and leaving the ballpark. 2 pitches in, and Tennessee leads 2-0.
I went into the pregame hitting routine with Tennessee over in the cages before the game started, and there was a different energy coming from the Vols here tonight. They were yelling, they were cheering, they were actually trying to get in the head of these Tennessee hitters to replicate what it feels like when you're in the box in an SEC game. And what has that led to? Some really confident swings to start this game. 2 pitches, 2 runs, and Tennessee's rolling.
Tennessee had just 2 runs through 6 full innings last night and then kind of got it going in the 7th.
There's the word, dominate. That's exactly what Tennessee has come into tonight to try to do. Get their mojo back, get some runs on the board, and support that pitching staff.
Year 2 for Craig Snyder as the hitting coach at Tennessee. After 2 years as the head coach at Texas Tech, he's been an assistant at some of the best programs in the country, including a really good run at Florida State under Lonnie Alameda. Hendiges falls behind Emma Clark 2-0.
Just really important right now for Hendiges to settle in. We've seen Kentucky pitchers throw the ball over the heart of the plate when they make mistakes, and now Hendiges trying to nip corners.
3-0. We talked about it, minutes before we went on the air, and just kind of said there haven't been a lot of hard hit balls in this series, and the ones that have been hard hit have been typically low line drives, maybe on the ground up the middle last night for Tennessee, but that would have been categorized as a pretty hard hit ball.
And that's exactly what they were trying to mimic in the cages before the game. This kind of energy in the dugout has not been something that we've seen regularly from Tennessee in this series. Really good job by Hendiges to find the corner after falling 3-0, now really getting back to settling into the circle, finding those corners, and attacking Emma Clark.
Hendiges was their top arm a year ago, most used at least, and then top returning arm this year, sub-3 ERA. It's just been harder this year as a senior because of injuries to Kentucky's pitching staff.
When you talk about injuries, most of those injuries have come to the circle. Out of 6 pitchers that they typically have ready to go, 3 of them unavailable here tonight. And with that, it really puts a lot of pressure on some young arms that haven't been tested.
There's strike 1 to Alana Leach. And it doesn't mean that Kentucky would have had a top 5 pitching staff in the league, but it gives them options that they just have not had in conference play. Which misses down and in, ball 1.
Just so important for Hendiges to not fall behind these hitters. The count sits even at 1-1, but that still is more of a hitter's count than it is a pitcher's count, knowing that they're swinging with a ton of confidence right now.
1-1 is pulled down the right field line. 1-2 to Leach, who I mentioned was immune to the slump. She entered this weekend in the last 10 games hitting .440 with 4 home runs, and then we saw her last night get it going after an 0-for-3 performance in game 1. Had just 1 hit last night, but drove in 2 runs. Checks her swing on that 1-2 pitch.
That changeup will be a very impactful pitch if Hendiges is able to locate that on the corners and keep it down. It's a timing disruptor for these bats that right now are able to swing and stay on plane very well.
3-2. This is ripped to right field and gone. Alana Leach with a no-doubter, Tennessee's second in the first inning.
Alana Leach, home run number 9 coming across the plate, and Tennessee has come out with a much different energy here tonight. I talked with Craig Snyder before the game and asked him what it was that he felt these hitters needed to do in this game 3 to not only secure the series, but gain some more momentum at the plate. He said, you know what, right now we are just not committing to our plan and swinging with confidence. Well, right now, every other at bat seems to be the long ball for Tennessee.
And that might force Kentucky to make a change already. Frustrating night for Sarah Hendiges, who takes a seat and makes way for Mackenzie Oslanzi. We'll step away while she gets ready. Tennessee, lightning quick start. Slanzi making her third appearance in the series. Started game one, went 4 1/3, gave up just 3 hits and 2 earned runs. But last night, Jenny came in relief in that 7th inning and gave up 5 of Tennessee's 8 hits and recorded just 2 outs.
And it just comes down to making sure that you're nipping corners. Kentucky pitchers, while they were not anticipated to carry such a heavy load, the 3 that are still available, right now they cannot miss over the heart of the plate. That's where they've struggled this season.
Strike 1 to Elsa Morrison as Tennessee is in the midst of their first 2-run first inning of the season and hoping to add to it with nobody out. And the 5-hole Morrison, who takes that pitch upstairs, ball 1.
Just so important for Kentucky pitchers to be able to attack these bats by showing something different. The problem is most of the pitchers for Kentucky all have a very similar arsenal that they're throwing with. So being able to show a different look in the circle is hard for Kentucky. They throw a little bit different velocity, but more often than not, they are throwing the same pitches. So it's not a huge change when you go to a different arm in the circle.
Slanzi ahead 1-2. Ground ball through the 5-6 hole. Elsa Morrison has a base hit, and the first 5 this inning have reached for Tennessee.
Talking to Craig Snyder, this is exactly what he was hoping. The way that they did their pregame BP would result in they are swinging with confidence. And it was a high energy session before the game. He said that was something that they felt was missing in the last 2 games of this series. They started the year so hot. Those losses in SEC play kind of put them on their heels because they've got a lot of youth on this lineup.
Now Taylon Holly, the right fielder. She was in left field last night. Her and Gabby Leach have switched defensively tonight. Holly having a good freshman season. She's 2 for 6 this weekend with a double and an RBI. The double came last night. 2-0 count. I've asked you before about your hitting approach when you play a little bit different. You didn't have the technology. If you played today, knowing all the different ways that we see these teams attack, whether it's sitting a pitch or sitting a quadrant of the zone, what do you think would work most for you as Kentucky not able to turn 2, but they do get the first out? What do you think you would want as a hitter?
I am not a hitter that likes to have a lot of information. And I think with the kind of analytics and technology that we have today, you as a hitter need to figure out what you need to play at your best. And that comes down to making sure that the coaching staff understands how you operate at your best. Are you someone that needs one message? Are you someone that can get a ton of information and cipher it down and figure out what it is you need? So understanding what you need as a player is just as important. You yourself, but also a coaching staff needs to understand how you operate at your best and then give you the tools to make you the most successful.
Short answer for you is give me a bat and a batter's box.
I needed to not think and stay athletic. We'll just say I did not go to an Ivy League school on purpose.
I'll say the same for myself.
You're in good company then up here.
They wouldn't accept my applications.
That's one of the things I was talking with Stanford head coach before doing one of their games, and she said, you know, going to Stanford, you have to make intentional decisions to make that a possibility. And I thought, that's true. That was never on my radar.
It worked out all right.
I think I'm okay.
1-2 count to Savia Morgan, takes down low. Morgan was a full-time starter last year as a true freshman, and maybe hasn't had the year 2 she had hoped for, but she's been really good when she's had to step in. We saw that last night for Tennessee. Morgan 1 for 4 with an RBI.
Knowing the way that Savia Morgan's been swinging the bat, Kentucky is playing her a little bit more shallow, forcing her to try to punch the ball through the infield. But watching her in pregame, her swing was very lively. She has the potential to take this ball not only out of the park, but drive it to the wall with power.
Swing and a miss. The throw down is not quite in time, but there's 2 outs.
And maybe the most important part of that needs to be recorded is that it was a strikeout at the plate. That is something that Oslanzi did not rack a lot of in her first game. She got 2 strikeouts in that appearance, but that's a really big strikeout, knowing that here at the bottom of the lineup, she just needs to get out of it and get her team back in the dugout.
Third baseman Maddie Rutan, she goes through the 5-6 hole as well, and that's going to bring another run around for Tennessee in this first inning. And Rutan thought about third base, but holds up at second.
The piece of that for Rutan that I need her to shore up a little bit, while that was a hard hit ball and she took off hard out of the box, she anticipated that she would be stopping at second base. So as this throw comes in from left field from Reganoni, it's misplayed by the catcher, and she had the chance to cut that bag in tight, make contact with the shortstop that wasn't paying attention. That would have protected her between second and third if she wanted to try to advance.
This one does bounce away, and Rutan able to take third. Got a great secondary lead on that.
So important to stay hungry on the base paths. You're never just content to stand on second base, always looking for opportunities to take an additional 60 feet. So I love that dirt ball read by Rutan, who missed a chance on her hit to take third.
Rachel Lawson trying to calm things down for this defense right now. This is a tall task because you haven't scored this weekend. You're going up against Erin Newer on the other side, who has a .78 ERA. She didn't allow an earned run in her first 24 innings pitched this year. She doesn't allow many in general. Only 8 earned runs on the season in 72 innings. Inside to Bella Faw as we have made it through the Tennessee order. This is the 9-spot Faw, who has a hit in each of the first 2 games of this series. That's really not why she's out there. She's out there for her defense at shortstop.
We see a lot of those defensive specialists around the country, and a lot of them do play shortstop. And it's because you have to be a bull in a china shop over there at that shortstop position. You got to charge hard, you have a lot of coverage to make, but Bella Faw has given them an impressive outing at the plate in this series.
Hard hit ball, it bounces up and past Donaldson. Really tough one to handle over at third, and Tennessee has 6 in the first.
I mean, the hot corner is getting a ton of action, especially being exploited in the 5-6 hole. That's a hot shot to Emery Donaldson. It does go down as a hit. Another run comes across for Tennessee. This is a fantastic start for Tennessee, and right now Kentucky just trying to regroup.
Gabby Leach, one of 3 that came to the plate this inning that did not get a hit. She reached on an error to start the game. Would love to do what her sister Alana did and send one over the wall for a 2-run home run. Take strike 1.
Listen, you don't need to have sister competition in the middle of a game. They're both trying to do the right thing, but don't add to it. They're going to go back and watch this and think, thanks, Chucky.
This is hard hit through the left side. Another base hit. Tennessee has 6 hits and 6 runs in the first inning. They had 8 hits all of last night.
Well, and that ball is not defensible unless you put a shift on and anticipate that she's going to push the ball the other way. That is a hard hit ball between your third baseman and your shortstop. Tennessee just absolutely smoking these pitches.
And Ella Dodge for the 2nd time. She has homered once in this inning. Swinging first pitch, that bounces awkwardly, and she's going to reach first. The nightmare first inning continues for the Wildcats.
Unfortunately, Kentucky is getting opportunities to get out of this inning, but when you find yourself being peppered with hard ground balls, when you get a very doable play, sometimes you find yourself on your heels, and I think that's exactly what happened to Hamilton over there at first base.
Bases loaded. First pitch strike.
And a really nice off speed. I love the way that Oslanzi is not afraid to start off batters with that change of speed. Make sure that she's keeping it low, nipping a corner. Really nice start.
Low ball one to Emma Clark, who walked and scored on Alana Leach's 2-run home run. Clark, Leach, and Dodge all entered the weekend with 8 home runs on the year. This is a check swing and playable behind the dish for Kentucky to get out of it. They strand the bases loaded, but my goodness, the Lady Vols looking for the sweep and off to an excellent start.
SEC Softball is presented by Regions Bank, official bank of the SEC.
Starters for Tennessee in this series have been lights out. 12 innings, 3 hits allowed, 0 earned runs. Aaron Newer takes the ball in game 3, trying to continue that trend from Carlin Pickens and Sage Margetko. Aaron Newer, a sophomore from East Aurora, New York, already 15 more innings pitched than a year ago. Her ERA has dropped a 1.5.
Well, when you're surrounded by such great pitchers, it's easy to step in with a different kind of look. She's got the lowest ERA on staff, and for her this year, she's settled in and found confidence in her skill set and is not trying to do too much, but just absolutely figure out what she is best at and then allow this staff to surround her with greatness.
This is low ball 1 to the leadoff, Carly Sleeman, the Kentucky DP who caught last night. Transfer from Central Michigan, where she spent her first 2 years, but has adjusted to the Power 4 life really well. Takes strike 1 on the outside corner.
Really important for her to establish those corners early in this ball game. A 6-run lead allows her to settle in the circle, but she needs to make sure she takes care of business against Kentucky.
Sleeman did not go around and jumps ahead 2-1.
Sleeman has been moved up to this leadoff spot in the lineup because of how she has been swinging with so much confidence. Not a typical leadoff, but they need to get her as many at-bats as possible.
Now ahead 3-1 in the count. Kentucky last night, they had just the 3 hits. 2 of them were doubles, and when you looked at how that game played out, it was just 2-0 going to the 7th inning. They had put themselves in a spot to be in a winning position. They just couldn't execute with those runners in scoring position, so that'll be the task tonight for this team. Carissa Hamilton had one of those doubles. Peyton Plotz had the other hit, and it was a single, but it went off the left field wall, and that's a great sign. They need Peyton Plotz to get it going.
Plotz does have that split grip, and with the split grip, it gives her top hand dominance, allows her to feel the whip of the bat through the zone. It's going to be important for Donaldson to step in and be solid on that outside pitch, even though she's got the split grip.
Pulls back for ball one. Ground ball, going to be a tough one to handle. The throw to second is just in time, and we'll see if Kentucky wants to look at it.
Now Rachel Lawson was just coming out to get the bat, give some words of encouragement to her next hitter, Allie Blum, who is the most consistent hitter in this lineup for Kentucky. They put her in the 3 slot. She's got 5 home runs on the year, highest average, most stolen bases.
That was a missile of a throw from Bella Faw at shortstop.
Well, and that's why she's in there, right? Defensive specialist out there covering a ton of ground, great feel, great touch, able to deliver a beautiful throw to get the lead runner.
Right back to Faw, and this time falls out of her glove.
That's the other part of the game that we talked to Karen Weekly about. With Tennessee, in the early part of the season, they were winning every game. And with winning every game, you fall into this sense of very confident play, but a false sense of security that you're not going to hit roadblocks in your season. They entered SEC play, and then the defense started to become a little bit hesitant and rush their plays. That right there was a very routine play that Bella Faw just rushed.
Big opportunity for Kentucky in this first inning to respond after 6 Lady Vols runs in the top half. Carissa Hamilton is a good bet to do it. She has 42 RBIs on the season and 11 doubles, which leads the team.
It's really important for Erin Newer to be able to throw to her scouting report. Right now, she's throwing faster than low 60s, which is nice, but she needs to make sure that she doesn't throw through her spin. Her drop comes in with a little more pop than with spin focus on her rise. It allows that ball to dance and wiggle a little bit more to the plate, creating some big swing plane differences.
Strike one on the bottom part of the zone to even the count 1-1 against Hamilton. Erin Newer joined Monica Abbott as the only Lady Vols to throw a no-hitter in their Tennessee debuts. Hers was 5 innings, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts last year.
That's pretty good company if you could say, oh yeah, just me and Monica did that.
Well, there's some other records you will never get in the ballpark of that Monica Abbott set. So anything is a good thing.
And that swing right there shows that there's confidence by Carissa Hamilton, but it's a late decision. And on late decisions, it's because you're second-guessing your plan at the plate. Something Kentucky needs to not worry about right now is that 6-run deficit. It's all about making sure that you square balls up, especially with a runner in scoring position here early in this ball game.
2-2 to Hamilton. Underneath this, right at the center fielder, Savia Morgan. 2 outs.
Timing is everything when it comes to hitting, and Hamilton was just ahead of that. And by having to slow up, she was underneath, allowed the barrel to drop and get under that one. So Newer gets away with a pitch pretty much down the middle of the plate, but with that speed change, it makes her very difficult to time up.
Inside, ball 1 to Maddie Clark, the shortstop. Senior from Claremont, California, played 2 years at Oregon State. And now in her 2nd season at Kentucky. Fouled down the left field line.
But back to speed change. That's exactly what that pitch was. A little bit slower, so the barrel was coming around a little bit too early. With that speed change, it gets a foul ball, which, in the words of a pitcher, is just another strike.
Ground ball right side and fielded just in foul territory.
Now, it's not where the fielder is, it's where the ball is. So there was nothing that she could do to make that a fair ball.
One, two. This is a spinner off the end of the bat, and Neuer switched her glove position at the last second, but all smiles. She's got a 6-0 lead after one. It's a big development for Kentucky. They're down 6-0, but this is their true freshman pitcher from Mont Belvieu, Texas, Haley Nutter, who has not thrown since March 21st at Texas A&M. She actually leads them with a 3.40 ERA and a 219 opponent batting average.
This is a huge development for Kentucky. Second most complete games on staff, and she has not thrown since March 21st. Upper 60s, she's going to come in throwing with more velo than what the rest of this Kentucky staff throws. Drop is her best pitch, but she needs to hit the corners with it. She will elevate with a rise ball, but it can sit flat. When she mixes her changeup in at the knees, it can get that swing and miss. But right now, I'm just curious, is she going to be able to be pinpoint focused and sharp against these Tennessee hitters that are hot?
Rachel Lawson said even when she did throw against Texas A&M back on March 21st, she wasn't really full go at that point. Said she'd been on the mend. They weren't exactly sure when they'd get her back. She returns tonight. And speaking of freshmen who threw no-hitters in their first career starts, she is one of them, has 2 no-hitters this year, and one of them came in her first career start.
And this has to be so refreshing for the Kentucky bullpen to be able to have another arm to go to. I don't know that Tennessee prepared for Nutter, not expecting to see her in this series.
Alana Leach sees her first and watches that outside 2-1. She blasted that ball in the first inning that left over the right field wall for a 2-run home run, and about a second after it left her bat, she was smiling at the dugout because she knew where it was going. This one is lifted to right center, and it is gone! Alana Leach 2 for 2, 2 home runs in the first 2 innings.
I mean, talk about a hitter that is seeing the ball like a beach ball right now. A little shimmy back to her teammates. 10th home run of the year now puts her in sole possession of the most home runs for Tennessee. This ball was left big, had good velocity in a hittable zone, and she unleashed on that pitch. 2 for 2 on the day, both of them round trippers.
Not the return Nutter had hoped for, at least at the first batter, as Tennessee now leads 7-0. First pitch strike to Elsa Morrison, the catcher who singled her first time up. She actually never saw the starter Hendigas. She saw Oslanzi. And now Nutter. Popped up on the infield and taken care of for out number 1.
That's not typically a first baseman's ball, but I appreciate the fact that Hamilton called that with authority and brought that ball in for the out. It's hesitation that Kentucky has been caught with at times, not getting the out. So that aggression right there is a good turn of events for Kentucky, finding a defender wanting the ball.
Now Taylon Holly with 1 out and nobody on. That jumps up at first base, and that's a heads-up play by Hamilton to stick her foot on the bag and reach out and grab it.
Scary moment for sure when it ate her up initially, but to be able to have the presence of mind to just keep the ball close to the bag, keep her foot on the bag while she found the ball and got the out.
Savia Morgan is 0 for 1 with a strikeout tonight. Lets that go for ball 1.
Knowing the kind of hitter that Savia Morgan is at the plate, the infield, I'm guessing, will be shallow, knowing that she likes to just tap and go, put the ball in play, and let her speed get down the line.
Strike 1 to Morgan.
Morgan is a difficult hitter to try to defend because she has so many tools in her tool belt. She can swing away, hit for power, hard slap through the infield, but also drop that drag bunt and try to get down the line.
.340 last year with 48 runs scored as a true freshman. More of stepping into different roles this year at the injury to, or not the injury, the illness to Sophia Knight currently.
That is definitely something that has opened the door for Savia Morgan to have an everyday role with Sophia Knight out with illness, not knowing when she'll come back. She's day to day at the moment. They're hoping they can get her back quickly.
Morgan lays down the bunt using the speed, and she is cut down. So a solo home run from Leach to lead off the inning, then 3 straight retired in the return of Haley Nutter. And ESPN2. These are the dates you need to mark on your calendar. Conference tournaments on May 5th, but one of our favorite days is Selection Sunday, May 10th at 7 Eastern on ESPN2 for the Selection Special.
That one feels like Christmas to me. Everybody waiting to see where they land. And with this year, it's not just 16 teams seeded, it's 32. And so by seeding 32 teams, you're going to get some very different matchups potentially in regional play that we have not seen previously.
The thought behind that is basically to reward teams that are doing well with better matchups, so you're not potentially playing as the one, maybe the 9th or 10th seed. You would likely be playing someone a little bit lower.
When you think about it, the way that regionals have typically worked is you play teams in your area because you're looking at a distance that the NCAA is trying to keep you within to keep travel costs down. But now seeding 32, you're going to see some travel across the country, some matchups that we haven't seen until potentially super regional play. So an exciting year for our sport as that rule has changed, not necessarily a rule, but that has changed in our sport. We're going to get to see some really good matchups in regional play.
The danger for Kentucky is a streak that stretches back 16 years of reaching the postseason. One of 11 schools that have made it to 16 straight NCAA tournaments.
Well, Kentucky's had wins with 30 or more wins in 16 straight seasons. That's been such a great stat for them. This year it's a little bit in jeopardy.
Just past the glove of the diving Faw as Kentucky starts off the second with a base hit thanks to Peyton Plotz.
Important for Plotz to continue to stay hot. She got cold in terms of home run production throughout this season, but she's now putting the bat on the ball, finding its way, get herself on base, start this inning off right for Kentucky.
Now Reagan Oni against Aaron Neuer, takes ball one low.
You could see the frustration in Neuer's face as she allowed that hit to get through, left it in a very hittable spot. Reagan Oni now stepping in, trying to find a way to move over Plotz.
Popped up just on the edge of the infield, caught by Ella Dodge.
Good communication between your middle infielders, one covering the bag, one going for the ball. Now there's the smile by Neuer in the circle, knowing she got a nice little pop-up. Easy play for her infield.
Alexa Riddell doubled last night. Freshman from St. Louis, Missouri, takes strike one.
Got her first hit of the series in yesterday's ball game. One of those doubles that we talked about. 3 hits in the game, 2 for extra bases, one of them coming off the bat of the freshman.
Inside ball one. Kentucky in the last 14 SEC games averaging under a run and a half. They have scored 2 or fewer runs in 13 of their last 14 SEC contests. Neuer completely fooled Riddell with that pitch.
Well, and I think that's a little misleading too. Look at who they've played in those contests, Chucky. The only team in the top 8 that Kentucky, in the top 8 of SEC standings, the only team that Kentucky has not played is Arkansas. And they've still got Alabama and Texas to play to finish out the regular season. This is a gauntlet of a schedule that Kentucky has been put under in SEC play.
Two. Got her looking. Great pitch from Neuer. First strikeout of the night for her.
That had some really nice arm side run on that. Nice little pitch with a wiggle at the end to keep it inside, under the hands, doesn't even get the swing. Nice pitch, and the first strikeout of the night for Aaron Neuer.
Down to the 9-hole, Ella Emmert, who fouls that pitch straight back. Emmert came in as a pinch hitter last night, a defensive substitute behind the dish, had a really nice throw to try and cut down a runner going to second that was just mishandled a little bit.
Ella Emmert has a plus arm back behind the dish. Right now they're needing her to find a way to be more consistent at the plate.
Takes ball one. This is lifted into center field and right at Morgan. That'll do it for the second inning. Tennessee up 7.
I'm gonna get my tax refund. I mean, I made it by 3 days this year.
Hey, congratulations.
I can spend it on the Walking Wounded. All right, here we go, P!
2 days to tax day, Jenny. Do you have yours finished up?
Yep, we've already submitted our check. But more than anything, I think that's a telltale sign of the way that Kentucky's head coach Rachel Lawson's looking at this season. She knows that they are banged up. They are having a hard time. I don't know that applying her tax refund to the Walking Wounded is actually going to happen, but at least she's able to still understand where this team is at, and it's a good sign that Haley Nutter has found her way back to the circle.
Talk to Rachel Lawson heading to the bottom of the third as Nutter tries to put up a 0 here for the first time for the Wildcats and her head coach. Is the outside corner for the strike. This is Maddie Rutan. It's 8-9-1 for Tennessee here in the third inning. Two and one.
I like that changeup. I think that can be received a little bit quieter, maybe brought back into the zone to try to sell that pitch, get the strike called, because that outside corner has been able to get called strike here in this game. Now that pitch definitely not in the zone, way far away from the plate, but I think the job of a catcher is to make sure that they help a pitcher buy some strikes close to the zone, especially when she's coming back from injury.
That misses low from Nutter, so a leadoff walk for Rutan. Tennessee is in business. Coach about the return here of Haley Nutter and what this means not just for tonight, but this could give them a big boost moving forward and another arm they can use down the stretch in this season. LaFosse shows bunt and pulls back ball one.
Just making sure that the defense is ready for anything. At this point in the game, it is a 7-0 game. Granted, we have to play 5, but if they get up by 8 and Kentucky cannot put up a run, this game could end early. So it's really important for Tennessee to fight and claw for every run right now while they have the advantage, not let Kentucky creep back into this ball game.
Both hitters for Tennessee jumping ahead big time in the count against Nutter in this third inning. 2-0. Foss swinging. This should be playable in foul territory, and it's dropped.
That's one of those plays in the outfield that has to be made. I mean, you get a dangerous hitter at the plate to be able to pop up. You've got to bring that out, and definitely misplayed by Oni.
She had a good night last night defensively, too. She was busy out there dealing with the sun as well. Faw does a nice job to get the bunt down. The sacrifice successful to put Rutan into scoring position. Well, Kentucky got off to a great start this year. Started 19-4, but since that point, they're 5-17. And you mentioned it, the only team in the top 8 of the SEC standings they won't play or haven't played is Arkansas. They still have Texas and Alabama left. The other thing on this list that stands out to me, Tennessee's in 7th right now.
Yeah, with the best pitching staff in the nation, they still sit 7th in SEC play. And the crazy part about it is, when you look at those standings, Auburn right ahead of Kentucky at the bottom of the SEC. Their 2 wins came off of Kentucky in the first series of SEC play.
Feels like a long season. We're already down into basically single digits for regular season games for a lot of teams across the country, and you just start to see how fine that line is right now for a team like Kentucky, who needs 4 wins to give themselves at least an opportunity to go to the postseason. That's not guaranteeing that they would go. That's just saying that they would have the record that would allow them to.
Right, that's an eligibility. To get to 500, you are eligible for the postseason. Now, would the committee select you? That is a totally different conversation. But to be eligible, you put yourself in a position of maybe being a bubble at-large team getting into the postseason. Right now, they are 4 wins away from being able to have that be an opportunity if they struggle through the rest of SEC play.
At least 2 of those wins will have to come against SEC opponents.
You're right, they have 2 midweeks coming up against Northern Kentucky and Louisville. They've played Louisville already this season. That was a loss for Kentucky.
Bounced in, 1-1 count now to Ella Dodge.
So they need to win both of those midweeks and find 2 wins in SEC play, and those are going to have to come off of Alabama or Texas.
They will host the SEC tournament starting May 5th right here in Lexington, as that one jumps up and hits Ella Dodge. 6th time she's been hit this year.
Well, and Ella Dodge had that first inning home run, and when you look at the way Tennessee's been swinging the bats, they have 6 first inning home runs this season. 4 of them have come off of the bat of Ella Dodge. She's been swinging it with confidence this year, started the game really well. That pitch just got away from Nutter. But I know they were not trying to leave anything big over the plate for the bat of Dodge.
Got to be careful with Emma Clark, too.
I mean, you got to be careful with everybody at the top of this lineup for Tennessee. Tons of power.
Completely different look to what we saw really in the first 2 games. Tennessee didn't score until the 4th inning of game 1, and they scored 1 in the 4th, 5th, and 6th, and then 2 in the 7th. Last night, 5 of their 8 hits came in the 7th inning.
That was something that Craig Snyder, the hitting coach for Tennessee, said that they needed to attack, and so they brought a different approach into their pregame BP, and with that, they came into this game much more fired up and ready to go as they put a ton of runs on the board up in the first inning.
2-0 to Clark. Nice pitch on the outside corner.
I actually left their pregame BP with my head ringing. It was so loud. The music was blaring. Everybody was yelling. And I think that's the piece that Tennessee was missing. The enthusiasm and the energy from the dugout, ready to go as soon as the bell rang to start the game.
This is ripped into the left center field gap. 1 run scores. Another one's going to come around. And it's a 2 RBI double for Emma Clark.
Just so important to be able to swing with confidence, and right now against Nutter, emerging from the injured reserve list, Emma Clark comes away with her 9th double of the season, rolls all the way to the wall, and with that gave enough time for 2 runs to come across and get plated for Tennessee. Big smiles for the Lady Vols.
Designated player number 10, Alana Leach.
Alana Leach has come to the plate twice. She has homered both times. You ever homer in the first 3 innings of a game? I was just thinking, how many times has this possibly happened? And I said, if it's happened, my partner might have done it.
I honestly don't remember. Chucky, that was a long time ago.
Maybe you'll get a text from a former coach or teammate and they'll say, yeah, Jenny, you did that
think they
5
can
times in your career.
Go
Come
look
on.
at the hieroglyphics on a cave wall somewhere to figure out if that's ever happened.
2-0 count for Leach.
I mean, this is Leach's 2nd multi-hit home run game. Both of them came in conference play. It's the 2nd time she's done it in her career. This is one of the Leach sisters that has been swinging with a ton of confidence lately, and they're needing it as they head into the back half of SEC play and ready for the postseason.
They are careful with Leach on this occasion, probably wisely. So with 2 outs, there are 2 on for Elsa Morrison.
Now that's a hitter. Alana Leach is not a hitter that you want to miss too. With that, I like the fact that Kentucky is bringing themselves to the circle, but it'll also bring Rachel Lawson out of the dugout to have a conversation with her infield. So while it is mic'd up Monday, these are actually protected conversations that we don't get to just listen in. It's not like Little League World Series where we can just open the mic and let everybody know what's going on. Hopefully we can chat with Rachel Lawson though in the next half inning and find out what these conversations are entailing as she comes out to talk to Haley Nutter, the freshman that I know that they are so happy to have back in the circle.
Now batting, catcher number 22, Elsa Morrison.
At times you look at Rachel Lawson and you think, what's going through her head? Because there's just only so much you can do when you've dealt with some of the injuries that they've had, when you've made some of the defensive mistakes that they've made.
You talk about the changes that Kentucky has had to go through, not just because of injury, but every infield spot in this Kentucky lineup is new this year. And then you add in the injuries to the pitching staff. It's been a tough year.
Nutter was asking where that pitch was. Rachel Lawson was echoing her concerns. (2-0 to Morrison. Karen Weekly didn't flinch.
She's used to seeing balls blistered past her over there in the third base box. Taking over the reins as the full-time head coach 5 seasons ago. She had shared the co-head coaching position with her husband, Ralph Weekly, who travels with her. He's up here in the box watching the game.
I think he's doing the analyst work on Kentucky's radio with Noah Frary next door.
No headset, but I'm sure he can
headset.
lean in and give some stats about his Tennessee Volunteers. There's Ralph. I think he needed to go to that pregame hitting session. He's not looking too energized up there in the box. Come on, coach. I'm gonna need you to pick it up. Need some energy. Diet Coke's not doing it.
He probably liked the 9-run lead more when he was on the field. Now he might be able to handle a little more excitement, a little more drama. Morrison fouls it off to stay alive, a full count. Busy week for him though, inducted into the Tennessee Athletics Hall of Fame.
That was on a Friday night. And with that, another Another big award for a huge icon. Another weekly award.
Elsa Morrison, the Knoxville native, walks. Karen Weekly really bragged about her and how mature she is as a true freshman. She said the struggles have not kept her down for long. She's an engineering major, so said she's not going to really spiral emotionally. She's really analytical, just going to analyze things and fix it.
Well, by not being emotional, it helps you as a freshman to be able to manage the conversation and your at-bats without getting too high or too low. This is a game of failure. It can mess with your head sometimes and make you doubt the things that you feel confident in.
Throw to third. That throw was on the money from Emmert. Second time she's had a throw like that. Emery Donaldson tapped the ears, said, I think we might have got her.
This is a good challenge with 2 challenges by each coach.
Kentucky is challenging the safe call at third base. The play is under further review.
So this call will go to Birmingham. They will take a look at this and relay that message back to this umpire staff. Our home plate umpire tonight, Aaron Golden, is our umpire chief.
That is back-to-back nights now for Ella Emmert behind the plate. I mean, she could not place these throws any better.
You're right. She had a throw to second base that was mishandled, and now a throw to third base. Just the way that this ball is received, I think the fingers do make it back in time, but that throw could not be more on the money.
Win or lose the challenge, I think you're right. I mean, why not take the chance? Bases are loaded, and this is already at somewhat of an insurmountable lead. Anything else?
Well, Nutter is struggling to find her locations right now. All 3 of the walks that she's given up are in this inning. Also, a hit batter, so 4 free passes in this inning. They're looking to try to just get themselves an inch to get back in the dugout. But I don't think this call is going to be changed. I think it was a good call on the field.
A long look at this, making sure we get this right in this situation. This could be the 3rd out of the inning.
After review, the call on the field stands. Safe. That is Kentucky's first challenge, and they have 1 remaining.
So bases loaded for Taylon Holly, another true freshman, going to get a big crack at it here in the 3rd inning.
She had a big night at the plate, also a big game in their midweek. She was 4 for 4 against Kennesaw State. And then in game 2 here in this series was 2 for 4 with a double. Right now she's looking to just put another charge in one, get it out of the infield to plate a couple more runs.
Those 4 midweek hits against Kennesaw State were all doubles. She was 0 for 13 in the 8 games prior to that explosion. Two-one. Slow roller right side, scooped up at second by Blum. Tennessee continues their trend of scoring in every inning, up 9. We'll talk to Rachel Lawson next. Kentucky trailing 9-0 to Tennessee, bottom of the third. Wildcats coming to the plate. We're joined by their head coach, Rachel Lawson. Coach, obviously in a really tough stretch in your schedule, in a bad spot in this game. This team showed yesterday there has not been a quit in them yet. What have you told them to try and keep them moving in the right direction?
Well, to be honest with you, we're a good team. We just have to be an elite team, and you have to come out, you have to make sure you're pitching great, you have to play awesome defense when you're playing teams like this, and you give them momentum, and they're just going to take it and run with it. So, you got to keep moving on. You got to keep moving forward and just doing what you can.
Well, and one of the bright spots of tonight is seeing Haley Nutter back in the circle. We haven't seen her since the middle of March. What is it that gives you the confidence to put the freshman back in the circle?
Well, to be honest with you, this is she's only pitched like a day or so since she's gotten out of the cast, and we didn't know how it was going to go today. So I love the fight in her, the competitiveness, the fact that her pitches are pretty sharp. I don't think the umpire thinks so, but otherwise I think she's pretty good.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
739 career wins for Rachel Lawson in 22 years, 3 of those spent in Bowling Green, Kentucky, at Western Kentucky, and then 19 now here in Lexington as the head coach at the University of Kentucky. A great player in her day at UMass, went to the 1992 Women's College World Series.
And took this Kentucky squad, not this exact Kentucky squad, but took Kentucky to the Women's College World Series in 2014 behind the arm of Kelsey Nunley.
That's what this team just hasn't quite had. When you look at the years with Rachel Lawson as the head coach at Kentucky, they have had All-Americans, they have had all-world type players. And the last 2 years since Erin Koffel left, since Kayla Kowalik the year before that left, they just haven't had that player that can really kind of carry them at times to a win.
And you and I have talked about this multiple times, is that it comes down to having a pitching staff. Anymore, you can't just have one. But look at the way that she has turned this program around. Started back in 1996, and after she took the reins, she's been able to take them to 8 super regionals. So this is a coach that definitely knows how to coach greatness. They've just found themselves up against a buzzsaw of an SEC schedule this year, and they have struggled to find their way to wins. But those All-Americans led the way to some really great seasons here at Kentucky.
Pitch misses outside from Neuer, 3-2. This is the top of the Kentucky order with Carly Sleeman. With Lawson on her staff is Christine Himes and Molly Belcher, who've been with her for 15 years. This is ripped to left center field, and Kentucky is finally on the board this weekend. Carly Sleeman delivers a solo shot.
That's what Carly Sleeman can do. That is the player that they need to have to the plate more often. She is swinging confidently. She is swinging with a ton of power, and she is not your prototypical leadoff slot. However, by putting her up at the top, they give themselves the chance to set the tone, and off the bat, she knew that that one was gone. She got all of it, absolutely smoked. Huge home run for Carly Sleeman, her 12th home run of the year.
This is off the end of the bat and had a ton of spin on it. Donaldson's going to reach first. Back-to-back base runners for Kentucky here in the third.
And we have not seen back-to-back solid at-bats like this for Kentucky in this series. So it is important right now for them to continue to build on this momentum. That ball off the bat, ton of English. With that split grip, it pulls a batter off the ball. But with it, gave it a ton of spin. And a tough break by Ella Dodge, could not get it to first base in time.
The bunt laid down, nice backhand, but the throw is a little bit low and Clark couldn't scoop it up. Kentucky has 3 straight on in the third.
Wasn't necessarily a drag bunt to get on. That was meant to move runners, but Blum is very quick out of the box, forces a throw that created a short hop over there to first base at Emma Clark. But that is a sacrifice bunt, but she saw she had the potential to try to beat it out. Misplayed, bad throw, and Kentucky finally with the bases juiced.
The ruling on the field is that the runner at first base left on time. Tennessee is challenging that ruling.
We'll see if Emery Donaldson left early. Karen Weekly was hearing it a little bit from the crowd here in Lexington.
So you're looking, does the foot leave the bag as the pitch leaves the hand? So I don't know if there's going to be a solid look to be able to definitively change this call. All we have is the all nine or the far away look to be able to get that timing play, and that's not a fantastic look to be able to change a call on the field. I think that's a pretty good call. I don't know that she left early. You can see the ball leave the hand. You can see the foot leave the bag pretty simultaneously.
Likely this would stand. And if it does, it'll be first and second for Carissa Hamilton in Kentucky. Already one run across.
After review, the call on the field is confirmed. The runner did not leave early. That is Tennessee's first challenge, and they have one remaining.
The little smirk over there at second base. Just so important for Kentucky to continue this momentum.
Again, goes to show that this is not a Kentucky team that appears to have quit on this season just yet. There's still a lot to play for, and even in a 9-run deficit, we're seeing this surge here in the third.
I think that's what Rachel Lawson was talking about. This is a team that's still fighting. They are not giving up. They have had their backs against the wall throughout the entire SEC schedule, but they continue to fight even though they continue to rack up those losses.
This is not super clean off the bat, but placed perfectly, and Donaldson is going to score. It's an RBI single for Carissa Hamilton. It's kind of off the end of the bat, but if it works, it works.
This is not solid contact. I mean, Carly Sleeman started the inning with an absolute tank, and then the next three hitters have just gotten lucky off the end of the bat. Ton of English, and this one off the end of the bat, but because it's off the end of the bat, it doesn't get deep in the outfield. And Tennessee continues to play at traditional depth, and with that, sneaks its way in and another run across.
Maddie Clark takes ball one. Senior shortstop with an opportunity now. Kentucky can make this a little bit more interesting with a couple more base hits. Takes strike one. Clark has just 2 hits in the last 11 games. A nice time to break out of a slump. One from Neuer. Bunt lays down. That had a ton of spin on it as well. The sacrifice works to move 2 more into scoring position.
So important to just play station to station right now, not try to do too much. And the spin off the bat right now is absolutely ridiculous. The way it changes direction, fielded well by Neuer, gets the out, but Kentucky now with 2 base runners in scoring position.
Nothing will top what we saw last weekend at Virginia Tech with that bunt that hit about 2 feet out of bound, or outside the foul line and spun back in. I mean, we talked about, like, you usually see them rolling. You don't necessarily see one hit and then jump.
What that tells you is you're seeing a ton of velocity out of the circle, a ton of spin out of the circle, and off of the bat, the ball continues to absolutely do its own thing. But you're right, it didn't, the ball we saw at Virginia Tech didn't hit grass, it didn't hit anything. It just was spin off the barrel, brought it back into fair play, ended up being a hit. And Kentucky still doing it with a lot of English off the bat, but even though they're not squaring it up.
1-1 count to Peyton Plotz. Throw to third, not in time from behind the dish. That's Elsa Morrison testing the runner.
It's just so important over at third base that you don't get an early lead. You lead off third base differently than you do first and second. You can lead late, you stay in foul territory. There is no need for you to try to get extra feet.
This is hit just over the glove of Rutan at third. And Kentucky plates another. Plotz moves up into second. She's got 2 hits tonight.
I mean, even though Kentucky found themselves down by 9 runs coming into this inning, this is a team that is showing that there is a lot of fight and a lot of will left in the tank. Ball just out of the reach of Maddie Rutan over there at third base. Allie Blum at third played it perfectly by holding up until that ball cleared the infield. An easy score, another run. Kentucky now down by 6.
Abby Hammond will hit for Kentucky. The freshman pitcher who was so good through 6 innings last night, just allowed the 2 runs. Only one of them was earned.
We've seen her emerge late in games. She will potentially stay in the lineup.
14 hits on the season, 3 of them are doubles, 2 of them are home runs.
I think they expected to use her more with her bat rather than pitching this year, but with those injuries to the circle, she has had to take on a lot more innings out of the circle, and they've been very creative with how they can use her at the plate.
Takes the 2-0 for strike 1.
That's a good take. With a 2-0 count, that's a hitter's count. You're looking for something with velocity that you can square up. As that ball came in with less velocity, that's a good hold on the changeup.
Behind that pitch for strike 2.
That's what a changeup is supposed to do. Get you out of your swing, alter your timing. So that changeup, she wasn't able to catch up with the speed with velocity.
Swing and a miss. Newer goes outside and gets the strikeout, her second of the evening.
And that's just a hitter coming off the bench, a little bit cold, maybe not able to have the experience in the box to be able to be more successful, swinging way outside the zone. You mentioned it, second strikeout for Newer tonight.
Last chance in what has been a very productive 3rd inning for Kentucky is the freshman Alexa Riddell. She has started 45 of 46 games played as a true freshman. Parkway West High School in Missouri to a Final Four finish at the state championships. Oh, 0-1 chopper, fall, long throw, low, but handled over at first by Clark. Kentucky answers, 9-3 Tennessee. SEC weekend, Tennessee looking for the sweep, and they lead 9-3. Oklahoma looking for history. They have hit 150 home runs this season as a team. The record is by Oklahoma just a handful of years ago, 161 back in 2021. You can keep an eye on the Sooners coming up this weekend, or coming up soon, I should say, Wednesday against Oklahoma State. Bedlam on ESPN2, and then Arkansas, Oklahoma. That's a top 6 matchup. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, game 1 on ESPN2 Friday night.
I think Oklahoma's going to hit 200 home runs this year. It is a projection that seems crazy, but the way that they've been swinging it, especially Kendall Wells, the freshman who's already set the national freshman record, has broken the single season SEC record. I mean, this is a player that is a generational talent and just a freshman.
Kendall Wells has 31 home runs, 69 RBIs as a true freshman at Oklahoma. She has walked 25 times and she has only struck out 19 times. For somebody who's hit 31 home runs, you would think that number might be a little higher. She is
unreal.
All bat to all ball. On the ground left side, Clark retires Morgan.
You're seeing new life, it seems, for Kentucky. That inning gave them the spark that they needed. While they're still sitting 6 runs behind, that is very encouraging to know that this is a team that has not quit fighting even though they've struggled in SEC play.
Maddie Rutan takes ball 1. Single, a walk, and a pair of runs scored tonight for Rutan, or at least in her spot. Ran for the last time she was in. Takes strike 1.
And to think that not too long ago there was a cast on Haley Nutter, has only thrown a couple of times since getting that off, and then now finds herself in a bowl game against Tennessee.
Allowed 3 runs since she entered. Has not had a ton of help tonight from this Kentucky defense. This is laid into and lifted to center, just leaving the yard. Maddie Rutan. Another Tennessee home run. The 5th of the season for Rutan.
Just so important for Tennessee to continue to swing with confidence, and another home run. It's the 4th home run in this ball game for Tennessee. Out of the hand, Nutter knew it. She dropped her head as Rutan came through with that swing. Great retreat by the new center fielder, Emery Donaldson, but there's nothing she can do. That ball's deep over the wall. Tennessee now up 7 again.
First pitch ball to Bella Faw down in the 9 hole as Tennessee tries to turn it over. They very quickly tonight set their sights on an early bus ride back to Knoxville. This is the question around Tennessee. We talked about it a little bit last night too. This is a young offense, and the question is, can they give this fantastic pitching staff enough in the postseason to potentially give them their first? This is off the glove of the pitcher, and the speed of Faw too much as she reaches first.
I think in that situation, that's a good job by Blum to charge hard and try to get that ball, but it was deflected just enough by Haley Nutter that she slowed it down, and Blum could not get there in time to be able to make this play over at first base. I mean, if Faw had not taken off hard out of the box, that was going to be an out for Kentucky.
Back to the top of the order, Gabby Leach, 1 for 3 on the night. She's reached twice. Has an RBI and a run scored. Gabby career best in a number of offensive categories this year. Was a great contributor a year ago as a first-year starter. Out in front of this pitch and fouls it off for strike 1. Karen Weekly coming in to talk to the home plate umpire, Aaron Golden.
I think they're going to put in a runner over at first base. This has nothing to do with the player at the plate because Gabby Leach is swinging a very confident bat right now. She did not start the 2026 season, but has evolved and produced in such a way that they need her in this lineup. And with the exit of Sophia Knight due to injury, they've moved her into this top slot, and she's produced very well for them.
McCall Sims, a freshman from Martin, Tennessee, will run over at first base. We'll catch up with Karen Weekly at the end of, or at the start of the next half inning. Off the handle, caught over at third by Sleeman, 2 outs.
Good job by Nutter to challenge Leach on the inside part of the plate with velocity. Got her to just hit a little jam job up in the air. And this is a very impressive outing for Nutter, knowing that she is straight off of injury. She has come in, she's given up some big hits, but she has been able to handle a lot of these hitters well.
First pitch misses low to Ella Dodge. One of 2 first-inning home runs for Tennessee back in the first. A 2-run shot. She hit the first of them. And jumps ahead 2-0. One more home run would be a season-high 5 in one game. They've hit 4 in the same game four times this year. Once against UCLA, once against LSU, and once against ETSU, as well as tonight. (3-0). 4-pitch walk to Dodge.
They are obviously dancing around Dodge after that first inning home run in her last 2 plate appearances. They hit her last inning and walked her this inning, so they are being very careful around that big bat.
This might be it for Haley Nutter as Rachel Lawson comes out of the dugout. She gave up a few runs, but I think the bigger thing here is that Haley Nutter is back for Kentucky and can join this pitching staff and give them a 4th option in the circle. She makes way for another true freshman, Abby Hammond, who we will introduce on the other side with Kentucky still down 7. It's the local kid, Abby Hammond, from right here in Lexington, Kentucky. She was excellent last night, and given the opponent and the numbers that she put up, 6 innings, 3 hits, just 1 earned run, I think it might have been the best performance of her career so far.
I was impressed by the way she took the circle, gave up 3 passes, 1 strikeout, but you're right. With just giving up 3 hits, she showed that she can control these Tennessee hitters, and that's what they need as they enter this part of the lineup that has been so good here tonight.
It's really back-to-back good performances for her because she threw a complete game shutout in their midweek win over Morehead State. 7 innings, 8 hits, and 3 strikeouts. Misses with the first pitch outside to Emma Clark. She enters right in the meat of this Tennessee lineup with the 3-hole Clark. 1-0. There is strike 1.
And the part of Abby Hammond's game that needs improving is that strikeout to walk ratio. So making sure that she attacks corners, doesn't leave it big, doesn't try to dance around too much, just needs 1 out to get out of this inning. You talked about Karen Weekly not flinching on the last hard hit. That one got a big flinch, as I think she thought she was going to wear that one off of the back.
I was going to say, in her defense, that one actually she had to move. Emma Clark's thinking, I'm going to find myself lower in the lineup if I hit my head coach in the third base coach's box. 2-2.
And the way that we've seen Abby Hammond evolve this season is she's been able to learn how to keep the ball on the edges. When she leaves the ball big over the plate, she was able to do that in high school. But now that you play in the SEC, leaving a ball over the plate is typically punished with a big hit.
Again, outside, 3-2.
Got to make sure that you keep this on the corners. That ball way outside, but she's trying to get the sell, Ella Emmert, back behind the dish for her young pitcher.
Again, fouled down the left field line.
You're seeing less velocity out of the circle now with Hammond in the circle, and that takes some adjusting by these Tennessee hitters. They had all faced Nutter, who was throwing with a little bit more heat. As Abby Hammond steps in, she's throwing in the low 60s. So you're seeing 6 to 8 miles an hour different now out of the circle.
Outside, ball 4, bases loaded for Alana Leach.
Scary to see a bat like Alana Leach come to the plate right now with bases juiced. Abby Hammond needs to make sure that she changes speeds, hits corners, because Alana Leach is seeing the ball very well tonight.
And they are actually going to leave Meredith Barnhart in the game, who ran earlier for Leach, so she will get the chance to hit with the bases loaded. Fouls the first pitch off.
I did not anticipate seeing Meredith Barnhart stay in the game at this point, knowing the way that Alana Leach has been swinging the bat.
Takes strike 2 and falls behind 0-2. Hammond's 0-2, outside. Two and two. Barnhart, a true freshman from Parker, Colorado, was a 4-time state champion at Lutheran High School. bounces in 3-2. Nowhere to put her. Hammond's got to come at Barnhart right here. Two. Foul ball.
So important right now to not let the emotion of the moment get to be too big. She came in as a pinch runner when Leach was on in the walk. Now, in a very key situation for Tennessee, needs to make sure that she stays in tune with the zone.
Foul territory left field, and that will get out of play. Alexa Riddell gave it a look. Tennessee looking for their 6th straight win, trying to get back to that early season form that saw them start 26-0, wins over Oregon, Nebraska, and UCLA, as well as Florida State in the Clearwater Invitational. It was not a light schedule for Karen Weekly to get out to that 26-0 start and climb to the #1 spot in the nation for a few weeks. Inside strike 3 called. Hammond continues her big weekend.
Big pitch, big moment. And Abby Hammond not afraid to take it inside and get Kentucky back in the dugout.
Welcome back to SEC Softball, presented by Regions Bank. Tennessee leading Kentucky 10-3 as we go to the bottom of the 4th here in Lexington. We're joined by Tennessee head coach Karen Weekly. Coach, we saw Gabby Leach last year and obviously returning this year as a starter. This has really been a breakout season for Alana. You saw her in the offseason, obviously, in the build-up to this. What has led to her having the success she is?
Yeah, she was one of our best hitters in the fall, and I think, you know, she played some last year and she got more of a taste of it at the end. And I think she just, you know, saw what was out there for her, and she worked really, really hard, and she's swinging a really good bat for us.
And you had 2 wins coming into tonight, but you weren't really happy with the run production that your team was putting up. What was it about pregame today that was a little bit more special to start that first inning?
You know, really just let the dog out. I mean, the beginning of the season, you know, we were playing with reckless abandon and just getting after it, and we haven't been doing that lately, and that was the challenge tonight, and they really committed to it. That's the difference. You know, you can say it as a coach, but they're the ones that have to put it into action, and tonight they have, and our swings have been completely different. You know, not even than the first 2 nights, but really than they've been the last couple weeks.
Thanks for the time, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
And Coach is right. I mean, the way that they came out tonight, I have not seen Tennessee that aggressive, that confident early in a ball game until tonight. The beginning of the year, they were rolling. There was so much confidence. They were high. They chased Jordy from the game with Nebraska, and then when they started into SEC play, they got put back on their heels a little bit, and those swings were not as aggressive and confident.
You know what I got from that interview?
What's that?
Now we know.
We know what?
Who let the dogs out?
Who?
I had to. You had your moment last night. 2-0 count to start off the 9 spot for Kentucky. Ella Emmert, 0 for 1, lined out to center field, right to Savia Morgan. Nice off speed there from Erin Newer, who has given up 3 runs. She's given up 5 hits, but I think if you looked at the exit velo off the bat, she would think this is going a little bit differently so far. High fly ball, shallow left field. Leach comes in to make the catch.
So important as an outfielder to be loud, because as an infielder, your job is to retreat until called off. So with that play, as Bella Faw is retreating to catch that ball, she automatically veers off as soon as Gabby Leach gets loud out there in left field. Communication is so important on defense.
Carly Sleeman steps in now, nobody on. She hit one of what is now 5 home runs in nearly 80 innings pitched by Erin Newer this year.
It was an absolute crush, and off the bat, Carly Sleeman knew it. The fist pump, the ball over the wall, and that's what changed the inning for Kentucky. That 3rd inning with the leadoff home run is what gave them the energy to continue to keep mashing and put 3 runs on the board. That is the way Kentucky has not swung in this series. They struggled to get anything going in this one, being no hit in game 1, 3 hits in game 2, and here tonight able to put 3 runs on the board.
Outside on the 0-2 pitch. Trying to straighten that out down the line.
And that pitch is more middle of the plate than it is outside. What that tells me is Sleeman is a little bit late to contact, so while she is squaring it up, she's not getting the ball out in front to be able to give a good charge in fair territory for it.
12 home runs for Carly Sleeman after not hitting one until the 15th game of the season. Another foul ball.
The thing you have to be careful as a power hitter now, as Newer continues to pepper the outside part of the plate, is she's ahead in the count. So is she going to take a chance and try to light up Sleeman on the inside part of the plate, as she's kind of lulled her into expecting the ball outside? You've got to attack inside with velocity, though, because it can be a hittable pitch.
She tried to go inside, but just too far to Sleeman, who reaches with one away.
Yeah, I think that's exactly where I would have gone with that pitch as well. Not at her feet, but try to jam her up, get a little flare off the inside part of the bat, because she was really timing up the outside well.
Megan Rhodes-Smith wants to talk to Erin Newer in the circle.
I think you need to talk about Megan Rhodes-Smith at this point in the ballgame, because the way that this pitching staff has been so dominant this year, and actually in the past couple of years, Megan Rhodes-Smith is a big part of that. Not a lot of ego, but she comes in and in the past couple of seasons has put together phenomenal outings, calling pitches, preparing them. And one of the things that Coach Karen Weekly brags about when she talks about Megan Rhodes-Smith is the fact that she doesn't try to make Tennessee pitchers look the same. every single one of them. She meets at where they are and just tries to amplify their strengths and then encourage their weaknesses to not be a sticking point for them anymore.
Feels very much against the trend right now in the sport too, across college softball, for them to have those type of numbers this consistently.
Well, and it shows the kind of pitchers that they have on staff, that the three-headed monster isn't looking to transfer when they don't get to be the ace.
That is into right field off the bat of Donaldson. Sleeman fell down trying to go to third and is able to hustle back into second base.
The aggression around the bag got Sleeman a little bit tripped up, so it's a hard hit out to right. Taylon Holly gets it clean, fires in a really nice shot, but Sleeman lost her footing on the rounding of second base and had to hustle to get back with the dive. She read it correctly, but you could see her already tripping and then tripped on the corner of the bag.
Could have been first and third, instead first and second for Allie Blum.
I don't know that Sleeman had the wheels to get to third with the way that Taylon Holly picked that ball up in right, but I'm just glad she got back to second.
This is into right center field, not going to have enough. Holly over to make the play, and it's a strong throw to third to keep Sleeman at second again.
Yeah, the arm of Taylon Holly, she's waiting to be tested out there. She's got a cannon of an arm. Really nice job getting that ball in quickly. I just want to maybe see that ball come in a little bit lower so that it can get cut off before getting all the way over there to third base.
I love the seriousness of the kind of worm with the arms. No smile, just getting the job done.
I'm sad that we didn't get you doing the worm up here in the box.
Carissa Hamilton takes ball one low and away. Carissa Hamilton, a senior from Flat Rock, Indiana. Career numbers again for her this year after she did the same thing last year. And a regular starter in 2024 as a sophomore, hit .250 that year, improved to .278 last season, and then this year over 300 at the plate with a team best 11 doubles.
And Carissa Hamilton, one of the strongest cats in the weight room. This season has come in more calm and able to focus at the plate a little bit better. She was moved over to first base with an injury to Lauren Borzilleri this season.
Looking for her first multi-hit game in a dozen as Neuer potentially robs her of that second base hit. Tennessee up 7 as we go to the 5th.
Tennessee came out swinging big in this one against Kentucky. They had 2 home runs in the first inning, all within the first 4 batters, though they started off with a ton of runs, putting up 6 in the first inning. But the power was not done. In the second, Alana Leach, second at bat in the game, second home run. She shimmied it in. They were up by 7. In the 4th inning, another one coming across off the bat of Maddie Rutan. These Tennessee hitters have been able to swing of the bat big here tonight in the 3rd game of this series.
Their best offensive performance of the weekend. It's been all about the pitching this weekend. Carlin Pickens no-hitter in game 1. Margetko and Pickens combined shutout in game 2, but tonight has been about the Tennessee offense doing what they need them to do, tying their most home runs in a single game this season with 4. This is high into shallow right field, 1 out.
And with the way that Tennessee was rolling, there had to be a ton of pitching changes by Kentucky, but since Abby Hammond has come in, she's been able to do Abby Hammond things and retire these batters that have been swinging with a ton of power here tonight.
Hammond should leave this weekend with some serious confidence. Kentucky's midweek is in just 2 days at Northern Kentucky. Then they'll go to Tuscaloosa for a 3-game set against Alabama. They'll be at Louisville for their midweek next week before Texas comes to town to wrap up the regular season for the Wildcats. Pinch hitter for Tennessee, Mackenzie Butt, a sophomore from Garden Grove, California, came over from Boise State with Sophia Knight. So Karen Weekly able to get the last 2 Mountain West Freshman of the Year award winners. Knight did it a couple of years ago as a freshman. Mackenzie Butt was the Mountain West Freshman of the Year last year, both of them from Boise State.
Boise State put up some big numbers last year, and I think a lot of that had to do with these 2 transfers that came over. Now donning some different colors, but doing the same kind of damage that they did a season ago.
Butt doubled in each of the midweek games for Tennessee this week. Hard hit ground ball. Nice job at short by Clark to take care of it.
This is the solid defense that Kentucky couldn't find earlier in this ball game. In that first inning, with a ton of big hits coming through, the defense got a little bit shaky. But the smiles are back for Kentucky with Hammond in the circle and giving them some nice little outs.
You take away 2 innings in this series, which was the 7th inning last night when Tennessee scored 4 and the 1st inning tonight when the Lady Vols scored 6. Kentucky's been right there knocking on the door, and some nights you're just going to get beat by the best pitcher in the country, arguably, in Carlin Pickens, which is what they did in game 1. But outside of that, in a couple innings, Kentucky's been right there.
And I think that's been the story of many of Kentucky's games this year. It's crooked innings that have been the difference maker in their season. If they can get to a place where they can eliminate the crooked innings, they're going to find their way to a lot more success.
Savia Morgan looking to reach for the first time tonight. She's 0 for 3. Only bat in the order that has not reached base for Tennessee. Ball 2. Misses as well. 3-1.
The Kentucky umpires sitting in the stands not happy with that call. Smallest crowd of the weekend, though, here tonight. It was rocking on Saturday.
Great crowd last night as well. A beautiful evening. This is hit hard into left field and caught out in left by Riddell. Kentucky needs the offense to get going. 3 innings to get it about what Kentucky has left. 2 top 5 opponents in the nation in SEC play as they'll finish it up at Alabama and then welcome Texas and a couple midweeks on the road as well. But they need 4, Jenny. Have to get to that 28-win mark and then hope to get a nod from the committee.
Yeah, so with 8 games remaining, they need to find a way to get to 28 wins, which would mean 4 additional wins from where they stand right now. As they sit at 24-21 tonight, this game not decided yet. It is so important for them to get to that 500 mark. Without it, they are not eligible for the postseason.
A lot of positives that they have seen tonight after a brutal start, really in the first 3 innings, giving up 9 runs in the first 3, just 1 in the last 2. We saw the return of Haley Nutter, who had been out since the 3rd weekend in March. Abby Hammond continues to spin it well in the circle. They need some more offense, though. Maddie Clark fouls it into the stands. Did they find it?
Maybe eventually? There it is. It's in his hand. He's got it.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 3 for Newer.
I was expecting some bigger strikeout numbers for Newer tonight. She came in at 69 strikeouts. You mentioned it, it's her 3rd of the night. That ball down and away, had some nice glove side run to get the swing and miss.
Runs that pitch up and away to Plotz for ball 1. Peyton Plotz has 2 hits tonight. She had the double last night, or excuse me, she had a single last night that went off the wall. But there are good signs coming from this bat right now that they expected, I'm sure, to be a leader after having an excellent season last year.
And Plotz, after such a hot start to the year, her bat got quiet.
Inside, almost got her.
It's been close to 70 plate appearances since her last home run. And so for the home run hitter, Plotz, who sits at 9 home runs, she led the team last year with 16 dingers, led the team in batting average as well. So it's so important for her bat to get hot again.
Takes the off speed, 3-1. Plotz swinging 3-1 and fouls it off.
She just keeps the at-bat alive. That was not a great pitch to swing at, but you never want to leave it up to the umpire back behind the dish. We've not seen him call that ball down below the knee as a strike, and so I think it's really important to make sure that she establishes where she needs to make sure she attacks this pitch.
Another foul ball.
But back behind the dish, Elsa Morrison wore that one. That's a tough spot. So with that, the home plate umpire, Aaron Golden, will give her a second to recover.
Emma Clark all smiles. She just didn't get hit with the ball.
No, she did not.
Up, and that one's going to get out of the stadium foul.
And those pitches up in the zone seem to be the ones that are getting punished. I don't know that they've got a ton of wiggle on them up in the zone, and so because of that, they become hittable pitches.
Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts now for Newer.
That down pitch seems to really be biting later in the game. Really nice drop off the table, down and away. It's hard to catch up to on the outside corner. Does a really good job of racking up her 4th strikeout here tonight and back-to-back plate appearances for the Wildcats.
Second chance for Abby Hammond, who was looking at something different, looking for something different. Takes strike two.
Abby Hammond, though, has been a bright spot for Kentucky in this series. Done well in the circle, has really held Tennessee to very few runs. And then at the plate has been able to swing a pretty good bat.
Oh-2 from Newer. Just misses, striking out the side in order.
I really like that pitch, though. Down and away, it's hard to catch up to. She kept it down, tried to get the swing and miss. And especially in an 0-2 count, there's no need to bring that pitch over the plate.
Cannot tempt Hammond.
But what Hammond now is doing is her eye is attuned to the outside part of the plate. This is where you go back inside and try to jam her up and get out of the inning.
Foul ball.
And I like the communication that you're seeing out of Tennessee. They're not staying quiet on the infield. I think sometimes when teams are rolling along, the communication quits in between pitches, but Tennessee's doing a really good job of staying active.
Got her swinging. Erin Newer strikes out the side in order.
Gotta love the way that Newer is attacking these hitters. Went back to back to back, strikes out the side to get out of the inning.
Lady Vols got off to a red-hot start, 6 in the first, in part thanks to Alana Leach, who hit the second home run of that inning and then homered in the next inning as well. Newer has thrown well, 5 innings, just 1 of the 3 runs is earned. And we did see Kentucky finally get on the board, and it came in the form of a solo home run from Carly Sleeman. 3 runs, the most in an SEC game since March 22nd for them. Hammond back out for another full inning of work. She has looked good, retired Tennessee in order in the 5th, and she'll see 8-9-1 here in the 6th inning. Addie Rutan goes down the first base line just off the glove of Hamilton.
Hard hit balls is how you get on, and when you look at the way that Tennessee was swinging at the beginning of this game, they were swinging so hard. We're on time. That hit, she was late to it, but got enough barrel squared up on it. It was enough to ricochet off the glove of the first baseman, Hamilton.
Rutan could be one that comes on and gives them a boost offensively. She entered the weekend hitting just .241. She's reached all 4 times tonight. This is in the center. Nice running catch from Donaldson.
That's a tough play for a center fielder to get to, because off the bat it looks like it's coming right at you, so you have to kind of hold your position before making a break. Remembering that Emery Donaldson started this game over at third base and then went out to the outfield as Carly Sleeman took over that spot from the DP slot.
Back to the top of the order with 1 away. Gabby Leach would love to join her twin sister in the home run club tonight. Gabby has hit 8 on the year, the 8th coming in the form of a solo shot in game 1. That's going to allow Rutan to take second base.
Instead of backhanding that ball in the dirt, I'd like to see Emmert back behind the dish, try to square that up and keep it in front. But good heads-up play by Rutan to take second.
Big swing at the 2-0 pitch.
The thing that impresses me on that swing is the balance that you see through the stride of Gabby Leach. It's so important to make sure that you maintain posture through your swing.
Another 2-2 pitch from Abby Hammond. Another thing that's improved for Tennessee a lot tonight, and obviously the way the first inning went, this would be the case, but the top of their order really didn't do much until that 7th inning last night, and that was not the case with them setting the tone this evening. But Leach goes down on strikes and Hammond keeps it rolling.
Hammond is not a strikeout pitcher, but she's done a good job of keeping these bats quiet. Her second strikeout of the night.
Second baseman, number 25, Ella Dodd.
Second full inning of work for Hammond. Has not allowed a run this evening since entering the game. And the only 2 base runners was a walk to the first batter she faced and then a leadoff single in this inning by Rutan. Into right field. Almost lost it in the night sky, but stays in play, and it's caught by Plotz.
Erin Newer came into this series with just 69 strikeouts in her 72 innings pitched, but she got rolling as the game has gone on. She's got 5 strikeouts, 3 of them coming in the last inning as she struck out the side to get Tennessee back in the dugout. The starters in this series have done so well. When you look at the way that Carlin Pickens started things off in game 1, she had 12 strikeouts in game 1. But we will see a pitching change now for Tennessee as Sage Margetko enters the circle for Tennessee.
Started game 2, 5 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk and 5 Ks. And I think the big number there for Margetko is the 1 walk. That has been an area of improvement for her in her junior season, her second at Tennessee. And a big reason why this trio has gotten even better this year.
And to see the way that this pitching trio has kept their walks down, that's been exactly like you said, Chucky, the difference maker for them this season. Not only are they able to throw those strikeouts, but they're keeping the free passes at bay as well.
All 3 of Tennessee's main starting pitchers have an opponent batting average of under 140. Newer's was just a tick over 100 before tonight. So Margetko will face 8-9-1, starting with Alexa Riddell. Inside ball 2. Looks like a night off for Carlin Pickens tonight, potentially.
And I just talked to Karen Weekly before the game about why did she enter Carlin Pickens yesterday late in the game, knowing that Sage had done such a good job. And she said, you know what, we only had a 2-run lead at that point, and we needed to make sure that we held the door closed on Kentucky, not knowing that our bats were going to come alive late in that ball game. So Carlin Pickens came in, closed the door, got the win in game, or got the save in game 2. After a very dominant performance in the complete game no-hitter on Saturday, which was game 1 of this series. Carlin Pickens keeping charts in the dugout. Had her big golden ticket moment last weekend at home.
So you think she's keeping charts?
I mean, she's not writing love notes. If she is, she should write, I hope I play for the Bandits.
Got her golden ticket from a former Chicago Bandit and legend Jenny Finch. Let's take a look back at yesterday's start for Sage Margetko.
I mean, it was so impressive the way that she was handling these hitters. Her ball was tailing and finding corners, and Kentucky struggled to figure out the puzzle that Margetko was dealing out of the circle.
She's fired up too, pitching with some emotion. You see the numbers for the trio this season. That is pretty darn good, and why they are the best staff in the country when it comes to multiple categories. 2 of those ERA and opponent batting average. They entered the weekend #1 in team ERA. They were almost a half-run lower than the team second in the country, which was Mississippi State.
And just the way that they throw, very low whip. So when it comes to walks and hits per innings pitched, they keep those low as well.
Foul ball on that sacrifice bunt attempt. Ella Emmert waiting for the runner to reset over at first base. Riddell didn't realize that it was a foul ball originally. They would love to give Carly Sleeman on deck an opportunity with maybe 2 runners on base. Swing and a miss from Emmert.
That rise ball, it's hard to catch up to. They haven't really had a good look at that pitch up in the zone because Newer doesn't challenge hitters typically up in the zone with really great bite on that pitch. So sitting at the letters as it continued to trail up, nice vertical move on that pitch for the swing and miss.
Ball 1 to Sleeman inside. Sleeman 0 for 2 with a walk last night. Tonight 1 for 1 with a couple free passes. One hurt more than the other. Take strike one.
The thing that makes Margetko so difficult in the circle is she's truly a master of speed change. She trusts her spin, and with that spin, she trusts the spin of her rise ball that comes in a little bit slower, just like her curve ball, that drop ball that comes in with a little more velo.
2-1. We talked about her kind of a steep swing last night. We were asking Rachel Lawson about some of the great players they had, most recently Erin Koffel and Kayla Kowalik, and she said one of the things about a lot of their greats, and specifically those two, is that they worked on a lot of different game plans. They worked relentlessly on their swing. She said Kayla Kowalik came to her when she was a sophomore and said, I'm never going to get out the same way twice against the same team.
That's what's allowed her to continue to be so successful in her pro career, and also as she chases an opportunity to play for Team USA in the 2028 Olympics. But those two players may be the most decorated coming out of this Kentucky program and still playing in the Pro League.
Hard hit grounder, chance for two. Quick turn, they got it. Great defense from Tennessee to end the sixth.
Nice little 6-4-3 action to give them the double play, get them out of the inning, and push us to the seventh. Can Tennessee hold on for the win?
SEC Softball is presented by Regions Bank, official bank of the SEC.
I'm not sure if Kentucky head football coach Will Stein had the velocity we're used to seeing in the circle this weekend, but he threw out the first pitch tonight, taking a picture with Rachel Lawson. Big week for them. Spring game Saturday at 11 a.m. here in Lexington. This is in the air to center field and caught out there by Donaldson.
They're expecting about 20,000 to come out to that spring game this weekend, so hopefully you've got your tickets to be able to come out and see the debut of Will Stein and the Wildcats.
You will not be here.
Nope, you and I will not be here. We will be on the road, Florida State.
Another one of the nation's best. So again, it is Meredith Barnhart stepping to the plate, and Sleeman cannot haul it in foul territory.
Fantastic drop step on that, almost able to get it. It's all about angles on the infield. Angles, and then enough leather. Caught it on the heel, so couldn't rein it in.
Did you have one of the really tiny infield gloves?
Of course you do. That's what a good infielder has. Now, tiny is relative because a tiny glove on the infield in softball is about 11 and 3/4 to 12 inches. That's a typical infielder's glove, where that is a monster of a glove in baseball.
Ground ball up the middle, and that is a base hit for Barnhart. Gets a second chance and makes it count.
That's why you got to try to get those outs when you can in foul territory, not for lack of effort by Carly Sleeman. And while Kentucky's still down 7 runs, I love to see the fight that they continue to play with.
They trailed 9-0 going to the bottom of the 3rd inning, scored 3 in that frame. Had a couple runners on in the 4th. And then the bats in the last couple innings have been quiet. (1-0) to Elsa Morrison.
With the hot start that we saw Tennessee start swinging the bats with early in this ballgame, I thought we were going to continue to see fireworks throughout the ballgame, but Kentucky pitchers have stayed very consistent in the circle and attacked these hitters very well.
It is just foul. Abby Hammond in her 2 outings, last night's 6-inning start, and then tonight she's gone 2 2/3. 8 2/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, and just 1 earned run.
That's the kind of outing that a young freshman needs to be proud of. Yes, they're not winning these ball games, but this is the kind of effort that you need to see to be able to find those 4 wins to get to the postseason.
2 away.
And this is perhaps the first time in 16 years that Kentucky faces a situation where they may not make the postseason, not because they aren't a quality ball club, but because they are not going to get to a record that gets them to 500. I think it's really important that Kentucky figures out how to celebrate the little things right now. And after being able to come away with a really tough first inning, they've shown up really well in the next 5.
Taylon Holly did go around for strike 1. And gets away from Hammond a bit, 1-1. Tennessee won't play in the SEC again until the 25th. They will host Alabama for what should be a top 8 to top 10 matchup in the country. And then they'll finish at Missouri before coming back to Lexington for the SEC tournament.
I think that's another thing we need to talk about with Kentucky and their schedule. They have struggled to find a way to catch a break. Their bye week in SEC play actually doesn't come until the week before the SEC tournament as they prepare to host it for the last time on campus.
Hard hit ball into left field. The runner coming home and then decides against it. So Tennessee has 2nd and 3rd with 2 away.
And I don't know if she ran through a stop sign, but she at least had her head up while she was running to see that the ball was going to beat her to the plate. So a hard round of the bag gave her a chance to potentially score if there was a bobble out there in left by Alexa Riddell, but a clean play out in left got the ball in really quickly and prevented that run from scoring.
Sabaya Morgan steps in for the 5th time tonight, still looking to reach for the first time. Takes that on the inside corner for strike 1.
as a slapper, you don't typically see a hitter stand in ready to swing away, but that's one of the things that separates Savia Morgan from being just a slapper. She is actually able to swing away. She can also hard slap, and I think that's the conversation that you're seeing on both sides right now as Craig Snyder, the hitting coach for Tennessee, comes out to talk to Morgan about how to stay through the ball. That's one of the qualities of a slapper that has to, or one of the mechanics of a slapper that has to change when they stand in to swing. Their weight distribution in their feet has to stay back rather than moving forward through the swing. So that's the conversation from Craig Snyder, but then Rachel Lawson also coming out to give some information to her pitcher, Abby Hammond, in the infield on how to attack a hitter that has so many tools in her tool belt.
1-1 count as we resume play, and there are 2 outs, but 2 in scoring position for the Lady Vols. Outside corner, strike 2.
So the defense playing very conservatively. They are not playing her deep. They're respecting that she can punch the ball through the infield, but definitely not playing her for a power swing.
1-2 from Hammond. Slow roller right side. Hammond flips to first. And Abby Hammond's fantastic weekend in the circle has come to a close.
I need a random color. Oh, I got it. Never orange. I will never use orange ever again. Gives me PTSD.
Orange is not Rachel Lawson's color after this weekend, is what we are hearing. And we really appreciate Coach wearing the mic for us tonight. She said at the beginning, we put her on right in the open. She said, they never use my stuff. I'm unmicable, but it's been a great night here on Mic'd Up Monday.
Yeah, well, orange has lots of different shades, but Tennessee orange, probably not one that she's going to trend to, being the Kentucky head coach.
Her and Karen Weekly friends, but Karen told us they did not talk in the lead up to this game. It's been 10, 11 days since their last conversation. It's kind of how it is with most coaches. If you're close, you don't talk on the week that you play each other. It's just kind of it's common knowledge.
Well, it's a little taboo, right? Like, you don't want to talk to your opponent right before you go there, and especially the way that this series has gone. It's been a tough one for Kentucky, especially with the kind of pitching that the circle for Tennessee is able to deliver. Best in the nation, lowest ERA, and they combine for a ton of really difficult plate appearances for whoever they go up against.
One thing to make note of here too, you might expect, 7-run lead late, you would maybe give a different arm some innings here if you're Karen Weekly. But one of the things that we talked to her about with this trio is to put them in all kinds of different situations. So she wants to make sure they've been in middle relief, that they've been in the closing role. And while this isn't your high leverage save situation for Sage Marjetko, it is just Sage's 5th relief appearance. So this is something that may be just a little bit of exposure for Sage Marjetko, because you never know what you'll need in the postseason.
You nailed it, Chucky. That's exactly what Karen Weekly is trying to do.
This is hit high into center field. Morgan is under it, and Tennessee 1 out away from a weekend sweep here in Lexington.
We also talked to her about, will we see Maddie Rutan or Peyton Hardenberger, 2 other pitchers that they have on available to them in the dugout. She said, you know what, right now it's hard to find opportunities to put those 2 in the game because we need to make sure that our 3 workhorses are ready to go and sharp in all 3 roles where they can be starters, relievers, and closers.
Last chance for Kentucky is Carissa Hamilton. RBI single back in the 3rd, her lone hit of the night. Great season numbers, but for most of the bats in this Wildcat order, it has been a tough weekend. 1-1, ground ball, backhanded by Faw, bounces it across, and just kind of slowed up in the dirt to allow Hamilton to reach.
The way you make that play as a shortstop is you cannot stand up after you make that backhand grab. So as you get low to receive this ball, you've got to make sure that you stay low through that throw. By her popping up, it prevented her from throwing that ball all the way across the diamond. But a challenge here late in the ball game to try to get themselves out of this one.
Take a look at this close play by Hamilton over at first. She's safe. I thought in real time it looked like she was safe as well.
Well, Chucky, we'll suit you up and put you on the field because you would have been right, I think. I don't know that we're going to see this call get changed.
After review, the call on the field is confirmed. Safe. That is Tennessee's 2nd and final challenge.
We'll just call you a man in blue from here on out.
There you go. You don't want to see me behind the plate. That would get a little ugly quick.
I'd call you out.
Everything would be obstruction because no one would be able to contradict me because we're not 100% sure on that rule usually. Is ball 1 to Maddie Clark. Chases that pitch up and out of the zone for strike 1. 2 hits tonight for Carissa Hamilton now, 2 hits for Peyton Plotz. The performance we saw from Abby Hammond in the last 2 nights, that is. Carly Sleeman homered tonight for Kentucky.
Those 2 pitches back to back are what make Sage Marjetko so good. That vertical separation between the rise ball and the drop ball, so hard to make an adjustment against, knowing that they come very similar tunnels.
2-2.
Then comes at her with a curveball. I mean, she's throwing everything in her arsenal right now. Are we going to see the speed change now to get the swing and miss and get her out of this one?
Full count. Sage Marjetko's pitching coach in high school, someone you're very familiar with, and the former Arizona great Nancy Evans, now pitching coach at Ole Miss. That'll do it. Marjetko paints the corner, and Tennessee has their 2nd SEC sweep of the year.
Turning the corner, Tennessee coming out of the box early in this one, scoring 6 runs in the 1st inning. That's the kind of offense that Tennessee is going to need to put up here at the end of the season to make a deep postseason run.
It is hard to improve upon an ERA that entered the weekend at 1.17, but Tennessee in 3 games gave up 1 earned run. They sweep Kentucky. The Lady Vols have Duke in just a couple days. Kentucky still has Alabama and Texas on their SEC slate. For our producer, Aaron Owens, director Brad Wilson, my partner Jenny Dalton Hill, I'm Chucky Kemp. We say so long from Lexington.